everyone. Today, all businesses and leaders are facing great uncertainty. We are faced with various business pressures and innovating constantly to improve the organization's ability to thrive and survive. We have been through the pandemic. Now we're experiencing the Russian and Ukrainian war, trade tensions between China and US, competitive labor market, supply chain challenges, high inflation and interest rates. Therefore, building organization agility and resilience has become the #1 hot topic as companies are looking for ways to grow while rationalizing their resources. Thank you for joining us today to hear about how LinkedIn is thinking about driving both growth and productivity in today's challenged economy. I'm Jun Bu, Head of Asia Business for LinkedIn Sales Solutions, and it's a pleasure to be here. I'm joined by two other LinkedIn Sales Solutions business leaders, Abe Singh, Head of India Sales, and Scott Johnston, Head of Global Accounts APAC, as well as our esteemed guest, Pranay Arnott, VP Go-to-Market ASEAN and TT. So over the course of the next 30 minutes, I will share with you some key APAC macroeconomic trends that's shown from our LinkedIn data. Abe will then talk about how you could leverage our deep sales platform to gain data-driven insights to find and gain access to the right opportunities and achieve your sales quota. To close off, Scott and Pranay will have a fireside conversation to share how NTT is responding to economic uncertainty with deep sales in their go-to-market. Before I begin, let me go through 3 housekeeping rules. Audio is only available through voice over IP by audio broadcast. There's no dial-in. We'll be sending out the recording within the week after this broadcast. If you're experiencing any audio issues, please refresh your browser. The best browser to use, I recommend Google Chrome or Firefox. Team members are available online on the Q&A panel to address any questions. If we don't get to you, please be assured we'll come back to you with an answer to your questions via an email. So with that, let me just kick it off. So many of us who joined LinkedIn resonated deeply with its purposeful vision. Our vision is to create economic opportunities for every member of the global workforce. How we achieve that is through the LinkedIn Economic Graph, which is a very powerful digital representation of a global economy of 900 million members, 61 million companies in over 200 countries and territories. We also hold data of about 129,000 schools and list about 39,000 skills. We have 49 million job seekers visiting the LinkedIn jobs per week, and our members have added 365 million skills to their profile in the last 12 months. As we speak, 8 people are hired every minute on our platform, and 3 new members are signing up every second in the last quarter. In APAC, we have about 254 million members. 47 million are in Southeast Asia. And just 2 weeks ago, we celebrated India crossing the 100 million members. So what it means is that this dynamic and digital representation of a global economy has charged us with the superpower of data-driven insights to help our members, customers, and partners in many different ways. We provide unique insights to government and NGOs such as World Bank and World Economic Forum to help shape global labor policies and map the global economy. In recent months, we have also been engaging in many conversations with our customers relating to skill-based hiring, digital skills, adaptive leadership, deep sales, and sales and marketing excellence. So in nearly all parts of the world, economies are slowing down. We are facing quite a lot of slowing down, I think, and we're expecting more to come. We've also heard that geopolitical conflict may potentially plunge Europe's largest economy like Germany into recession. Advanced economies like the US, UK, Canada, and Latin are facing the prospect of mild recessions in over the next 12 months as the central banks try to uproot and cool inflation. China's reopening may offer some reprieve for the Southeast Asia markets. But APAC is showing up differently when compared to other global regions as our global economy isn't homogeneous. APAC has also done better and fared better. We are seeing things in APAC not slowing to the extent of the widespread recessions as seen in other global regions. But from my conversation with customers, there's also a strong level of cautiousness and optimism. APAC macro outlook is expected to remain relatively flat or slow growing. We do expect some global headwinds to affect growth in this region, as APAC is not spared from the same pressures with inflation, high interest rate, labor market being competitive, and the slowing down in hiring. In fact, our LinkedIn data shows that hiring rates have been lowering by 20 to 30% in the last 12 months. Erosion in the pace of hiring has occurred and more is expected. Softening in the labor market is showing up as less drastic as employees are being more cautious. Despite the 20 to 30% reduction in hiring in APAC is actually running at pre-pandemic levels, and we're seeing bright spots. Entertainment, hospitality, energy are the top performing areas showing increase in hiring despite the challenged economy. So based on our LinkedIn data, there is an insight I thought would be of interest to you if you're a seller of a global product. We are seeing a trend towards borderless selling. We believe is driven by the lack of opportunities in intense competition in the domestic market and the growth of emerging markets such as India and the ASEAN markets. Let's take at the map right here. Our study indicated that there is a 95% increase year-on-year in internationally saved leads in December 2022 versus 12 months ago, December 2021. I've also listed the countries which we have observed high international prospecting. So, and you'll see that the darkest green, or the country that prospected the most internationally, is Ireland. And the most green activity happens in the Europe with UK, France, Germany, and Greece, where they probably are more pre-positioned to look beyond their borders into their neighbors. One other interesting observation is that high growth in US and Canada, because the US has historically been a domestic-oriented country when it comes to selling. Now let's drill down to APAC. We've run a saved lead analysis to assess the trend of borderless selling in March 2023 and also March 2022. Our LinkedIn data is showing very interesting results. The top 12 APAC countries engaged in borderless economy remain the same. Philippines retained its #1 spot as the top APAC country to sell internationally. China overtook Taiwan in its #2 spot, while Hong Kong shifted downwards from a previous 4th to a 6th position. Malaysia and Singapore increased its overseas prospecting from about 68% to over 77 and 75% respectively, taking the 4th and the 5th spot on this chart. When looking at where they're selling to, using Australia, Singapore, and India as an example, there's a consistent lead interest in US, UK, Australia, and India as the top targeted countries. In terms of who outside APAC is targeting this region, we are seeing US and UK holding the top spots, while Ireland has shot up from its previous 8th position to being #3. Most top 10 countries are from North America or Europe, except for Brazil, and the UAE has dropped off from the top 10 chart this year as compared to last year. Now let's switch gears and move towards looking at them from geographies to industry movements. In the past recession, the most resilient industries are usually the basic necessities like consumer staples, education, health, and utilities. Our deep data validates this point, as you can see here on the screen. Globally, we're seeing industries like utilities, oil, gas and mining, and wholesale showing strong industry performance year over year. Real estate and travel and hospitality are also picking up as people are traveling and engaged in more of the hybrid world of working. What this shows is that our data is a great mirror of what's happening in the global macroeconomy. In APAC, what we saw from our deep data when the pandemic started was that certain markets like travel, logistics, hospitality suffered tremendously, but it also created new opportunities, growth opportunities in selected industries like e-commerce, telehealth, delivery services, and cloud businesses. In the last 12 months, APAC have seen organizational growth and hiring in hospitality and travel, power, engineering and electricity, consumer goods and services, as well as real estate. Now, imagine having access to this information at your fingertips. You would already be a step ahead of your competition in terms of prospecting or in the overall sales planning and strategy. Today, our sales cycle can be short. Recession could last 9 to 12 months, but the buying cycle and the relationship with our customers could much longer than both the cycle and the recession. Therefore, it is important for us to think about our go-to-market strategy when responding to this economic uncertainty. It's not about being whether it's A or B, or whether we're building the flexibility and agility to do A and B with the same or lesser resources presented. I recently read in Accenture a research that reported leader businesses which doubled down on their tech investment during the 2021 and 2020 are now growing 5 times faster than laggard businesses. What it suggests is the importance of smart investment in the right innovation and digitalization that enables organizations to bounce forward during the economic uncertainty and slowdown, to focus on both growth and productivity at the same time, not just cost management. By focusing on just productivity, you could lose your strategic distance when we get out of this business cycle. So I ask you to take a moment, pause, and think about this. What you do today, your decisions today in how you handle the economic slowdown will determine how your organizations will come out of this downturn or recession. How are you responding to this uncertain climate? How are you thinking about the future and your go-to-market? To help address these questions, I have Abe Singh, Head of India Business LinkedIn Sales Solutions, to share how our customers are leveraging LinkedIn's data, insights, and our deep sales platform to find white space and growth opportunities and increase productivity in the sales organizations. Over to you, Abe.
Thanks, June, and hello everyone as we engage today on this very timely topic, how to grow in a challenging and ever so evolving economy. My name is Abhay Singh and I head up LinkedIn Sales Solution Business for India. Over the last 2 decades or so, I've seen many highs and lows show up in the macro environment. While many see this as headwinds for the business, the best organizations and sellers that I've had the privilege of working with are the ones who've seen this as an opportunity. They have led with data, pivoted businesses, and created opportunities to still drive value for their clients, and in the process outshine everyone else. Over the next few minutes, my intent is to share with this audience 3 things. 1, my take on what's changing in the macro. 2, how is LinkedIn partnering with organizations in this region to help them navigate the road ahead? And 3, I'll try and summarize my key takeaways based on that experience. So let's get started with setting some context of what's really changing in the world around us. There's a definite slowdown in the economy, and everyone is being cautious for the right reasons, I must add. Since no 2 downturns are similar, our obvious response to them cannot be the same. So what did LinkedIn do? Through our own research, we tried to get a pulse of the market, the real sentiment on the field. And it was clear that organizations across the globe are still trying to do 2 fundamental things right. 1, grow revenue, and the other, reduce cost. It's just that the focus on both these aspects of the business has intensified like never before. Now, what does this mean for revenue generating organizations? The already difficult job of selling will eventually get harder. Sales professionals will struggle to hit their quotas in this tough economic environment. Sales cycles will become longer. They'll become more complex. There's going to be more competition. There's going to be many new buying committees that you'll have to deal with. Add to the complexity, the buyers will change jobs. Interesting data point, longer sales cycles have been mentioned 52 times on earnings calls in Q3 of 22, the highest in the last 5 years. And at the same time, budgets, headcounts, and investments are going to be scrutinized like never before, and sometimes even cut. Now, if you're a business leader and some of these challenges are resonating with you, I would encourage you to think of all these challenges, which is the one that's most acute for you. And in the next few minutes, let's help find the solution to each of these together. I'll throw in another data point. LinkedIn did a state of sales report in May of 2022 last year. And this data point talks about the fact that 81% of sellers in the APAC region had either a loss of deal or they delayed their deal because of change in decision maker jobs. Now, while the rate of change in jobs has definitely gone down in the last few months, what has accelerated is businesses pivoting to find new growth areas. Mergers and acquisitions are happening all around us. Consolidations of business to better align to companies' growth objectives is the new key buzzword. Now, all this will continue to delay deals in the coming 4 quarters if we are not vigilant enough. So the big question is, what is it that these organizations are pivoting towards? What is it that they care the most about? It is clear protecting your client base seems to be the #1 priority. Serving your clients in the best possible way is the sure shot way of not just retaining your existing clients, but also growing into newer accounts. And we can demonstrate that in LinkedIn by looking at the hiring data on our platform. We found that in this period of economic uncertainty, there's a definite shift in demand of sales jobs that are focused on maintaining customer relationships compared to hiring for sales roles that are focused on acquiring new businesses by about 50% higher. That being said, we can all say with certainty that relationships will always be an essential part of sales, regardless of whether you're in a good time or a bad time. But especially when times are tough, relationships will matter the most to sales organizations. Now, when everything around us is changing so rapidly, did not we wish to have one superpower which will help us do our jobs better? And that is where LinkedIn's deep sales came in. LinkedIn over the last few quarters has embarked on this amazing journey to help build the world's first deep sales platform, to help sellers get the superpower that I talked about earlier by leveraging insights to drive outcomes, to convert the connections that you have and the relationships that you have to commerce. June touched upon earlier in this segment about our economic graph. Our deep data that you see on the slide is comprised of LinkedIn's member database. So that's over 900 million members who consume content, click on jobs, update their profiles, message and connect with people on a daily basis. We then analyze these member actions, so we are able to infer buyer intention through the content that they're engaging with, or even analyze decision maker movements across geographies, jobs, or industries. Finally, with deep data and deep insights, we are able to add value by using these signals such as job change or company growth to help sellers identify decision makers at that right buying moment and finding the right path in, eventually resulting in better relationships with clients. So let's dive right in and see how this plays out in real life. At the start of my conversation, I did mention, sorry about this technical glitch. At the start of my conversation, I did mention how is LinkedIn partnering with organizations today. We have realized that the top performers or the top sellers take a data-driven or an insight-led approach to selling, and they have built habits which are setting them apart. The top teams that I have worked with in this region are also practicing the same top habits across their organization. And that's what I'm going to be talking about in this slide. And it all starts with territory planning, identifying accounts with the most and the biggest white space. Top teams using insights to understand the market and then prioritize accounts in that market are giving them the best chances for success. And we are enabling that through the deep sales platform. Once you've identified the right accounts and you've done your territory planning, we all know selling is not an individual sport. The second pillar is collaboration. We facilitate that on the deep sales platform. Top teams are now uploading their identified accounts onto Sales Navigator, building account maps or org charts, and sharing that list with all stakeholders, whether it is in the pre-sales function or the post-sales function, right up your ladder of the team that you're working with, right? And while doing that, now you have a common system of engagement, which now integrates with your system of record, which is your CRM. And therefore, it is enhancing collaboration. It's taking it to the next level. Now, once you've done your account prioritization, you've figured out who are the right people that you want to get in touch with, the next obvious choice and the next step is going to be how do you want to engage with them. The top teams are finding the right buyers at their account and are looking for the signals which is pointing to the right moment to reach out, personalize their message to stand out amongst the noise. Now we can use all the data and sales intelligence tools that are available to us for prospecting. But the moot question that we're trying to answer is, can we demonstrate results? Does deep sales unlock buyer-seller relationships? Is it more effective utilization of time for buyers and sellers? And I'll start by saying, why is that important? Like I said earlier, we expect longer and extended deal cycles during the time of recession. And therefore, the short answer is that the deep sales platform can help improve and accelerate deal cycles by about 29 days faster than the average. This means that if you're having a deep sales approach or sales navigator-led sourced opportunities, it is helping buyers to say yes faster. It's even helping you to disqualify a deal faster. Is absolutely crucial at this point in time because it's the most efficient use of time for both the buyer and the seller. It will ensure that you show up as a credible partner for your clients and not just a seller. Another point that we touched upon earlier is that during recessions, we expect greater stakeholder scrutiny and buy-in, and thus executive relationships or connections will become increasingly valuable. In this slide, we're showing that the power of deep sales can actually improve relationship capital, even in a period of uncertainty. So if you look at the graph on the left side, there are two cohorts of people that we looked at. One are the ones who are using Sales Navigator and the others were not. And then there's a time period. The gray bar represents a pre-economic uncertainty time period, which is around June. And the blue bar represents the looming uncertainty around September. So two things came out strongly. The ones that are not connected on Sales Navigator had about 4.2 times lesser connections than the ones who are connected on Sales Navigator to their decision makers. But the second and more surprising finding is that for the Sales Navigator users, the blue bar is higher than the gray bar, while for non-Sales Navigator users, it remained constant. This means that in the period of economic uncertainty, Sales Navigator or deep sales users were resilient and in fact accelerated the connection growth. Why is this important? This is important because higher connectivity to your decision makers directly correlates to about 6 percentage points difference in win rates. Now, this is something that we're all struggling with. This is what deep sales helps solve. Now, if I have to summarize how we're quantifying all the aspects of deep sales to drive revenue for our clients, it can be classified in these three categories. Deep sales is helping our clients in APAC lift deal sizes by about 47%. It is helping lift win rates by 6%. It is helping you to increase your pipeline by 38%. And all this is happening because we are able to go after the right accounts. We're able to make sure that the collaboration is happening with all the stakeholders at scale, and it helps you to eventually build credible relationships over a period of time. So if, as a business leader, the answer that you're looking for to solve is how do you do more with less, deep sales is the perfect solution for you. For my final slide, I'd like to leave with 3 takeaways about the importance of deep sales during a recessionary period. A famous philosopher once said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. I would want all of us to remember this, that preparedness is the key. There will always be pockets of opportunity in the down market. Markets are never homogeneous. And there are a host of factors like industry and location or timing that can influence peaks in an economic cycle. Deep sales can help you find these opportunities. The second takeaway is that relationships matter more than ever. And the more connected you are with your buyer, the seller that is more connected will be equipped for a better chance to winning. With deep sales, you will have the right technology and the tools to help you build better relationships and close deals faster. The third is my favorite. Recessions or downturns typically last for about 9 to 12 months. While we're already in the middle of it, you will realize that the sales cycles are going to be much longer than the period that is left. So investing in the right platform and building skills which will help you deliver the long-term growth is the key. That's it from my side, and I simply love the next section where we're going to hear directly from one of our clients, Pranay Anand, Vice President of Entity Go-to-Market Southeast Asia. He's going to be in a conversation with Scott Johnston, APAC Head of Global Accounts at LinkedIn. Over to you, Scott.
Hey, Pranay, welcome to LinkedIn's Reframing Uncertainty. It's great to have you here today.
Thank you, Scott, for having me. And to all our viewers in the region, I hope you're all having a fantastic day.
Well, it must be an exciting time at NTT at the moment with the two businesses coming together, creating a lot of growth opportunities. However, we are seeing a really challenging economy. I'm keen to get your perspective on how you're thinking about growth, given the unique opportunity that presents itself for NTT right now, but also managing the challenging economy as well.
A fantastic question, Scott. And yes, there's never a dull moment at NTT. We formed this brilliant brand called NTT Limited by merging close to 40 companies together and doing that over the pandemic. And now exciting times ahead, coming together with our sister company, NTT Data, to form a new brand called NTT Data Inc. Now, what this brings us is an opportunity to not only grow our business, but grow it well. So with the impeding economy and everything that's happening around us, the only way out of this is to be the value creator for our clients. So growth for us has to be with value, because good growth is what's sustainable, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, the use of data is really critical to identifying those bright spots of growth. I'm keen to hear how you leverage data at NTT to inform your strategy and also put your teams into those opportunities, within the region.
Scott, we've been fortunate enough to have the direct voice of our customers. We have over 6,000 clients here in Asia Pacific itself. That, coupled with our partner ecosystem and market research, allows us to shape our strategy well as we head into the new fiscal year. Now, for me, this art of selling is a combination of science and getting that art right. So for us, it's about using data, a very data-centric approach, but then being able to manipulate that with relationships, being able to leverage data in a manner that really hits home for our clients. Case in point, you raised the impeding issues with the economies, what's happening. The reality is that most businesses are looking at technology to help them over this hump. So it is important for us to not just take a pie in the sky approach, but to get the combination right between science and art and be able to really deliver value to our clients.
Yeah, I love that notion of science and art together. I think one of the things that we've seen, a recent Gartner study revealed that the average salesperson only spends 5% of their time with a customer during that buying cycle. So how do you deal with challenges like that when you're not able to spend as much time? The customers are better informed as well, but by the time they actually get to talking to you at NTT, how are you dealing with those market challenges?
One of the reasons we encounter that, Scott, is when there's tremendous pressure on our people to be able to do good business, right? But to counter that, you need to have focus. There needs to be a sound strategy in place, and you need to back that up What's your North Star? Because if you know your North Star, then you got to harness the power of technology to be able to give you those insights, those sales plays that your clients are really looking for. That will then allow you to spend a bit more time with your clients to qualify that. The approach has to be agile. It's not one size fits all. So you need to be able to be in a position that you can pivot these, but at the same time, you can only do that if you're spending enough time on the ground, right? So irrespective of how much data you throw at it, how much technology you throw at it, the buying cycle is always connected emotionally. So you can't take that away. So I think personally, what we are doing is we are making sure we are providing our sellers, our people with all the tools, the technology to make their lives easy. Yet all we ask of them is spend enough time with their clients and help us strategize as to how we get to our end goals quicker.
Yeah, I think I noticed on your LinkedIn profile, you describe yourself as an adaptive leader. Why do you think that's important, not only for yourself, but also for your team?
One of the things that you must acknowledge that our clients don't run their businesses on our strategy, right? We have a viewpoint, we qualify that with lots of data, and we go out to execute. Now, as we find things pivot, and there's a lot in our economies that create these movements or incidents or the crisis across borders, etc., etc. As a leader, you must be able to bounce back quickly. You must be able to think on your feet. You must be able to then refocus and realign your teams to deal with those situations, but yet not forget where the end results needs to be, Scott. So irrespective of whether you are in a startup, you're in a large multinational organization, you need to be agile in your execution because there's no plan B, to be honest.
Yeah, good point. I think, you have been a leader within technology for over 20 years. You must have seen some downturns yourself. Do you have any advice for any potentially new sales leaders that may have not been through, these cycles before? What sort of advice would you give to them?
I think first and foremost, you need to be 100% clear as to where you're heading. Right? You need to have a focus in mind or a plan in mind where you can drive that focus. The other thing you need to do is to ensure you wrap your arms around your people. They are the critical piece in the execution. Without them, you're nobody. Let's just put it out there, right? So during uncertain times, you will feel that your people are edgy. You will feel that there's uncertainty. It's okay for you to wrap your arms around them and say, hey, look, I don't know the answers to this, but together we should be able to crack this. So I think focus is critical, right? Being able to drive that. At times, you need to be the change agent yourself, right? You need to be able to drive people towards those outcomes. So leading by example is key. That's one of the things that I've tried to do, Scott. We operate in a very different environment. Asia Pacific, a honeypot of cultures, and within countries, you've got very different operating models as well. So for you to be in this situation and be successful, I think being adaptable, being agile, but not losing sight of the end goal is critical.
It's a really good point. I think definitely where we're heading is it has to have an end goal, but also a really good solid plan around that. And finally, Pranay, I just wanted to get your perspective in terms of how LinkedIn's helping you and your team be successful.
When we first started this conversation, I talked about growing, but growing with value, right? As we've brought all these companies together to form Entity Limited, and now with Entity Data Inc., the coming together of two massive organizations, suddenly realized that we have a portfolio that's full stack, from heavy assets all the way to industry-based solutions. Now, to be successful, we need all the help we can get, to be honest. And one of them is climbing up the value chain, having conversations with different stakeholders and different buyers. Predominantly, we've been very much centered around the IT operations and the IT department. You and I know budgets are moving, have moved. The buying powers are now with business units. And that's where the power of LinkedIn comes in and Navigator comes in for us. It helps us navigate the movers and shakers in organizations we engage with. As we inherit and integrate and build new portfolios, we need to get to newer buyers. It helps us identify these people, help us be able to connect through like-mindedness, through common interest, and be able to really sharpen our execution. When I spoke about that selling motion or the new way of selling, it's the science that you provide us, coupled with us being able to really put that art and massage that and be that new age sales motion where we drive growth and value hand in hand.
Yeah, well, we definitely appreciate the partnership, Pranay, and really look forward to supporting you through this transition. Good luck for the 1st of April. I think it's, we're really excited to see, the companies come together, but also to see the success as you can, continue as one company. And I think, it's just such an exciting time. And I love the notion of art versus science and getting that balance right. And I think, we love the partnership that we have with NTT and looking forward to supporting you. Likewise, Scotty, and we need all the help we can get, and we appreciate LinkedIn standing beside us hand in hand in new, uncharted yet exciting waters for us. All the best, Pranay. Take care. Thank you. Cheers. Bye-bye. Cheers.
Thank you, Scott and Pranay, for this amazing conversation. And thank you, everyone, for staying with us. I'm going to share some of my closing thoughts and resources before we wrap up. You've heard from our experts today so many nuggets of wisdom. And if I have to simplify, here are my 3 key takeaways. Takeaway number 1, taking a data-driven approach can actually help you discover bright spots in this dynamic economic environment. The current market conditions may present challenges for sales teams, but it's important to remember that change and uncertainty will always bring opportunities as well. Sales professionals and leaders who are agile will discover innovative solutions to drive growth in this environment. At LinkedIn, we believe that you can still drive growth more than ever by using data-driven insights to find opportunities that others are not seeing. Second, as I said earlier, relationships matter now more than ever. How we work with our clients, how we show up when things are tough, will be how they will remember us when things are good. Stay informed, stay curious. Don't be afraid to ask questions and lean in to understand how our customers are being affected by these macroeconomic changes. Come with a humility and a deep desire to learn and not sell. As I mentioned earlier, there's a greater scrutiny and buy-in needed at this point in time. Thus, every executive relationship that you will have is going to be increasingly valuable. I have been in multiple conversations with customers recently, and the consistent theme that I'm seeing is that the CFO or the C-suites are involved exponentially higher in every deal. In fact, Gartner recently suggested that the typical deal today has about 20 different stakeholders, which can definitely lead to a delay in deal cycles. Therefore, playing the long game is important. Important is the fact that you'll have to gain your customers' trust, show integrity and consistency over time, engage in activities that will help bring your clients closer to your sales professionals, activities that are not transactional in nature. Another strategy is to introduce and connect your executives with your client executives to build and foster a strategic relationship that will continue to bear fruit over time. And third, deep sales is the way forward. By shifting sellers toward high performance and building an insights-driven sales ecosystem. This is what deep sales technology does. It translates comprehensive, high-quality data into dynamic insights that empower sales teams to identify, research, and prioritize the right accounts to act upon. Sellers with stronger networks are definitely going to be better equipped to show results and close deals faster in this environment. Now, here's my 3 takeaways. I am just going to be leaving you with this library of resources that we have to help you navigate this dynamic environment. Please go on to sales.linkedin.com and have a look at everything that we have around this topic. You could also go on to Deep Sales and scan this QR code to land on sales.linkedin.com. I'll stay on this page a little longer. You will find every resource that we touched upon available along with this webcast in our Q&A section. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for staying with us. Hope you have a wonderful day ahead.